being quiet during the countdown. Like,
Do we have a countdown
that's
screen? Nope, we're live.
So,
all
Psych.
right, fine.
well, the countdown screen is actually really just a bunch of hype BS stuff. Because remember, when we do the countdown,
No, it is just the countdown while we talk in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's no countdown. And we're live on Instagram.
yep,
Great.
and we're live on Instagram. So, welcome to the Wednesday night Liberty Post
Pod.
Go Live.
Show live.
Show.
Liberty Bibbity Show live.
And if everybody had their, it would be the Liberty Post podcast show, Journal of Integrity,
Circle of Trust.
piece live on Wednesday. Aaron, the daily update guy, is out on assignment. I think he's somewhere in Tehran right now, covering the bombings, and he should be
Yes,
coming
very
in
important.
at any point in during this broadcast. So, welcome. We got politically basic Kyle Campbell and Brett Lee from Project Liberty.
What's up?
Hello, family.
What's going on?
Okay.
A lot.
I
So-
want to say this. I want to start with this. I had somebody already commented. The Joe Kent situation. Do we want to even get into that?
Joe Kent,
Yeah.
Joe Kent.
like the stepbrother of Clark Kent, right?
Yes. His illegitimate brother.
Yeah.
Where do y'all stand on it?
Well,
Brian?
okay.
Go,
so-
Brian. Go,
As
Brian.
far as Joe Kent's concerned, man, there's you can conceivably draw like little the little conspiracy guy that has the little board with the strings that go from
Yep.
here to there.
And he's like all freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah. So like mine would be, if I were to put on my tinfoil hat, I would make it so he was the insider for Tucker Carlson, right? So when they knew that the heat and the steam was coming their way, Tucker Carlson comes out the night before and is like, "Yo, man, they're gonna press some kind of FARA charge or something like that. They're gonna come after me." And then a couple of days later, conveniently, Joe Kent steps aside. Now, from a non-tinfoil hat perspective, I really don't care. I think he was a veteran. I think he served his country. I think that people, when people are drawing comparisons to, like when he put out, we should take Iran out, he was talking about their missile capabilities. He wasn't talking in its context, and people have lost that. So when that tweet came out, he's talking about, yeah, we should make sure that they can't launch missiles all over the place. We should take that capability out.
Sure.
But, so when he said we shouldn't have gone into Iran, they weren't close to nuclear capability, that could probably be true.
Right.
And so he's just sharing it from his perspective. And he's not contradicting himself, and he's not being a hypocrite. He's just in context to the situation, sharing his piece. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm right, and it doesn't mean that he wasn't leaking some stuff or
Yeah.
whatever. But guess what? None of us know.
Exactly.
Joe Kent. So I don't personally have an opinion on him. I know he's a veteran. He served 11 tours or something like that. To that
Highly
effect.
decorated, hell of a guy. I mean, everybody that knows him knows he's
Yeah.
a good guy through and through.
Yeah,
Hell of a person. So that's kind of where I stand. I'm like,
Same here.
was he privy to some information that got leaked? I don't think we'll ever know for sure. There's, he said, she said type stuff. I try to just kind of look. I'm trying to separate him as the veteran, the highly decorated veteran, from what's happening now, because I don't feel like you can mesh the two together. I think it's a nothing burger. I think that they're
Yeah.
drilling it into the media just because it's something to talk about, and you've got two very clear sides on people that support him and people that don't. And the other thing I said from the very get-go when he released his formal statement is, at least somebody is standing up for what they believe in.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, he is at least standing up and saying, look, this is wrong. This is not what I stand for, and I'm stepping out. So take that for what it is. But I don't think it's as big as a controversy as everybody thinks it is.
No, we love to make mountains out of molehills over here. And look, Joe Kent has lived and experienced things that the majority of Americans will never experience. He's living in his little trauma bubble, and we have to respect what he's been through. Look at what happened to his first wife. I mean, my God, you can't expect someone like that who's done all these tours and served their country this way and knows what they know to come in and then start communicating with the American public in any kind of way that we're going to be able to download that and be able to take it for what he really means. We have to sort of try to decode this,
Right.
and we're not doing a very good job. And so I think that people right now, especially on the Republican side, on the conservative side, are trying to put people into lanes, right? We want to put somebody
Yes.
into like the old school, like you know, traditional Republican lane. They want to put people in the MAGA lane. They want to put people in this like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson lane, which is where they have put Joe Kent.
Right.
And I don't think that's fair. I think that we have to understand like his history, his experience and perspective, and take that into consideration.
Sure.
And also, I'm just so, can I just take a minute? Like, I'm so sick of this, like Candace Owens, everything's a conspiracy.
I know.
Everybody was trying to kill Charlie Kirk. Like, stop putting him and everyone who comes out with anything that is newsworthy into this bucket, into this lane. Like, we're tired. It's tired.
Yeah.
And so I think that I agree. I think it's a nothing burger. You know, he served his country. He didn't, whatever, he has his prerogative. He can change his mind. Like maybe
Sure.
he felt one way about Iran and what's going on at some point, and he disagrees at this point or with how the administration is proceeding.
Yeah.
Fine, let him have his opinion.
And
he
he
did
can
the right
change his
thing and he stepped
opinion.
down.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Bring somebody in who's gonna move the work forward. But I just don't like this, like, you know, taking someone and telling them who they are without understanding their experience and their perspective. So
Yeah.
I think that we're a little bit of a mess, and there's so many efforts to try to divide us, and I'm over it.
Well, and then Joe Kent is one of those people you cannot encompass Joe Kent and who he is in a 30-second video clip.
No.
I mean, that man has done so much for this country and experienced so much and sacrificed so much. His wife, I mean, his story is incredible. So
Yeah.
Does that sway my opinion of this exact thing? No. Like I said, I try to separate the two, but at the same time, you cannot judge him just based on a 30-second clip or some clickbait BS that I think the country, or I'm sorry, the media rather, is just trying to just shove down our throats. You know, if it's something that's got a clear two-side division in the right now, the media is just clinging on to it and trying to drive that wedge between us. So we have to understand that when we hear these type of stories, especially if they make the news cycle more than 3 days, because the regular news cycle is 2 days and you never see it again. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
I don't think anybody really knows. Nobody does. And, anytime somebody, lifts their heel against something that Trump does, they automatically become traitors,
Right.
Treasonous. And you name it, you're going to get the name. And, it is what it is. I still stand with the administration and
Sure.
some of their decisions, even if I don't like it. Sometimes some of the rhetoric that comes from Donald Trump, could you have said that better? Or you couldn't have said it like that.
I'm glad he's dead.
I think that's what makes people go insane, because they're just, so you can't say it like that. Well, he did. So so let's look at the record. Let's look what's going on. It brings everything. It also brings us into the subject of Iran and what's happening over there. And the divide on that. I think there's on any given day 3 or 4 different positions on it. And
it's
opinion.
Exactly. And it's an evolving situation. It's not something that we can all just be like, here's where I stand from now on. It's an evolving situation. And that's kind of where I've landed. At first I was like, okay, I think we need to take care of the issue with Iran and do what we need to do to stop the regime and put the Iranian people in a position where they can take over and get the IRGC out. But now that they're starting to talk about a prolonged war, boots on the ground, putting our people in harm's way, it's like, okay, then my opinion may change, right, wrong, or indifferent. But people try to box people into, oh, remember when 2 weeks ago you said that I was all in? And it's like, okay, my thoughts and
new information has come to light.
Exactly. I'm ingesting new information, and guess what? I may form a different opinion. That's what irritates me so much. I'm just like, you can't do that.
You are a rarity in this, world of trying to understand and digest. It's like these are the goals, right? What do you personally believe are the goals of this operation and these efforts? And what are you only going to accept one way of accomplishing those? Is it going to
Exactly.
be quick and painless and 0 deaths? No. And I
Right.
think that as a nation, we're only going to accept one way. And if
Mhm.
Trump did it, then we're not going to accept it. But
Right.
what's happening in Iran right now and the implications that it has worldwide and how money flows, how oil flows, how trade is happening. I mean, how nations create alliances and work together and who has the power and who doesn't. Like it's all being restructured and people can't stop for 1 second, take a step back and see like, oh my gosh, we are rebalancing everything that happens around these factors. No, they're like, oh, it's taking longer than 3 weeks. Remember when Russia invaded Ukraine and it was like, well, this is going to be over in a hot second.
Yeah.
Like we're with Ukraine and everyone was waving their Ukraine flags and was like, Russia's the worst. And now what are we at? We're like 3 years, 4 years later.
Yeah.
And we've even lost track. I can't even tell you how long it's been because we've lost track. But this is going to be the same situation. Do you agree with the end goal or
Sure.
not? And that is
Right.
the only question is, do we need to deconstruct this evil, oppressive, terrorist regime or not? Pick a
Right.
lane.
Yeah.
And I think that we've gotten real lazy and our expectations have been raised so high in this country of things that should get done.
Right. Yeah. And
Um,
I wrestle with it still, because from the very beginning, I don't want another 20-year war in the Middle East. You know, I
Nobody
don't
wants
think any
that.
American wants
No.
that. I think we can all agree on that. But you have this time frame where it's like, okay, this was supposed to be a quick in and out,
Yeah.
and then it's starting to get prolonged, which I understand. I mean, I understand that these things, like the geopolitical implications of overthrowing a main pillar in the Middle East that controls so much energy and oil and all that kind of stuff, it's way more involved than just, all right, we're just overthrowing a terrorist regime. There is so much more nuance to it and so many more webs tied out all throughout the Middle East and that have implications for us in America. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you can't just say, I'm this or that. You know, I'm a nuanced person. That's just kind of where I fall in it all.
And it depends on what time of the day it is too. So
True.
like,
Yeah, catch me in the morning, bomb 'em.
or like what's going on? Somebody just pissed me off at work, bomb the shit out of them. But like, so like, no, it's honestly to dial it in and be serious. You know, nobody wants a long-term war. That's
Sure.
that's the general consensus of every single person out there. And then nobody wants boots on the ground.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want this terroristic regime there in place even after we've done it. So when
Right.
we first went in and we were going to bomb them, my heart was hopeful that we were going to take this regime out. So then when he started saying no regime change, we're just going in there taking out their targets, I'm like, dang, that's a bummer. And then at the same time, I don't want the boots on the ground. So there's a complexity here, a myriad of things. No boots on the ground, but now it's like, okay, these people, they were a well-sophisticated organization. They had some good management on the ground, all the way they had their military structured, and then they started fighting back. Obviously, in my mind, I never thought it was going to be a short-term situation because
Right.
you're not just going to go. That country is big. You're not going to go and just bomb a couple places and them not be underground somewhere where you don't expect them to be. And then, and I keep thinking to myself, you know, we've got to get rid of this regime. So when I hear Trump talking like, oh, or people saying that he's going to make deals with this Qud leader or whatever, I don't know how you say it, but Qud leader, I'm like, dude, isn't that the same freaking thing? Just one of the examples of it. What are you doing? And then at the same time, I'm like, well, dude, yeah, you need to pull out. But then at the same time, we're already in. And what's the implications if we don't finish the job?
Yep.
And here's my fear. And this is where I really, really get serious about it. There's a part of me that doesn't think we get out of this without boots on the ground.
I don't think we have to. Actually, I will push back on you on that because what we are seeing also is the display of American weaponry and military equipment like we have never seen before. This drone technology that is so precise and so effective means we don't have to have boots on the ground. I think boots on the ground will, if that does need to happen, is just a show of force. This isn't like man-to-man combat happening on the ground. But Brian, you're right in that Iran, they will fight until their last person. They have contingency plan after contingency plan. You can think you wipe them all out, and some like 15th cousin comes up and is like, "I'm in charge, and we're
How
gonna
many
keep on
proxies? Yeah,
terrorizing." Like
they've lost count of the
and-
proxies that are involved.
At the end,
And
it'll
it
be
doesn't
some
even-
relative in New York that's a liberal white woman.
Listen, that's it. And the minute that liberal white woman steps foot on Iranian land, they're gonna hang her because they don't like that, right?
Psych, guess what?
They're filming videos and footage right now of so many people to put out there when everyone's gone, just to say, look, the regime survives. So we're dealing with a different beast. And I think the more that the American public can understand that, the better in knowing what enemy we are trying to obliterate. And obliterate it has to be. Because we're getting to the point where, yes, we want the Iranian people to put someone forward and say, this is what we want. We want freedom. We want democracy. We want human rights. We want women's rights. We want all of this. But I don't think Donald Trump is the kind of person to leave anything on the table at the end of the day. And I have good trust in that. And so Wally's saying, yes, no boots on the ground. We're not going to participate in regime change because we're so terrified of repeating the mistakes of the past, of that horrific regime change that we thought was going to work and isn't. I just have good trust that this team is going to navigate this the best way possible. And look, at the end of the day, guys, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I see the spiritual kind of overture of this. It might not come to pass because it's not meant to come to pass. And you have to accept that at the end of the day, too, is there's only so much that humans can do. But we do our best all the time. And at the end of the day, they might just remain evil because that's the way it's supposed to play out.
Well, there is some scripture where God's going to establish his throne in, I can't remember what the name of the country, but it refers to Iran. So there, we could be at the intermission. You know, they come in and like, hey, we're good now. And then, maybe a decade or two down the road, we're bad again. But I do like Pete Hegseth. I think there's no better person for the job of Secretary of War than Pete Hegseth. I think he carries himself really well.
And I think to be in that position, you got to have a couple of drinks from time to time. I think he handles it well.
And he said this. He said, one of my favorite lines from the other day is, "We negotiate with bombs." And so I was like, man, that is the tough talk of a strong military.
Carry a big stick, man.
In their capabilities. And so when I going back real quick, first off, let me just segue real quick. Can you imagine being the guys in the room like, okay, who's up next to the Ayatollah? Everybody's like,
not me.
Not me.
Not me, man. The drawn
that
stick,
guy that I've had beef with for 34 years.
He draws the stick and he's like, So, boots on the ground just to land a plane on that. I don't think that we'll need it, but there's a part of me that's like, maybe a Delta Force squad or whatever they call them, special forces, go in and take out those little coppers out there that are keeping the people from rising up. I don't know, but with Trump and the way he plays, because if you've listened to Trump throughout the years, he always would call out the reporters, "I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do." That's the biggest thing, right? We're going to be in Mar-a-Lago on May 7th.
That's why we never found the weapons of mass destruction, boys. Because Bush was like, hey guys, we're going to be there Wednesday at 4 p.m. Get ready. Show us all your WMDs. And they're like, oh,
sure.
We'll have a bottle for you.
He's always said that he's never going to give the play out. And so when he's talking, you never know what the hell's going on behind the scenes. And so I'm just like, okay, Trump, well, I'm sitting back with my popcorn and I'm going to figure this stuff out, And honestly,
that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I sit back and relax and let the government do what they do, because at the end of the day, you and what army is going to get in there and be like, Trump, you're wrong.
When it comes to the military, I let those military professionals, the commander in chief being the top, I let them make the calls because they know so much that we have no idea of what's going on. So yes, I always lean to their intelligence people in that regard. So
well, and thank God our military is so much different today than it was even a couple of years ago, right? Like they weren't good for anything. We had China circling, Russia circling. They had subs parked off of Taiwan, off of our coast. They were sending the balloons. Do you guys remember the balloons?
The balloons.
Right? I mean, come on. So we thank God that we're in so much of a stronger position now that our infrastructure is being built back up, because we can handle it. And I think that this Operation Epic Fury is also there are a lot of layers to this, right? And one of those layers is showing the world what we're capable of.
Yes.
It's a messaging campaign, right?
Posturing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't mess with us. Like, come to
No.
the negotiating table, give us what we want. Or we've got so much in our deck left over, right? Like if you think about Karg Island, it's like we're just gonna take out your military. We're gonna leave the oil infrastructure. But we've got that in our back pocket. And I love how they're proceeding
them a
here.
close
Everything is a little right, everything's a little warning. Do what we say. Oh, you're not, we're gonna take this out. Come on, we're still welcoming you in.
Yep.
You're not gonna do it, we're gonna take this out. And it's like they're not going to do it, but at least it's showing the world our force and our might. And if you don't do the right thing, the democratic thing, the fair thing, the appropriate thing, like we've got it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I have to say,
Yeah.
I love it.
I think the whole change in our military being able to be that mighty force that we all knew that we were, and that we were just, pushed by the wayside the last, I feel like, decade. Our military was it was embarrassing at some points. And you're just like, how did this happen? But for Pete Hegseth to come in, change it back to the Secretary of War, or, I'm just like, this is what we need, that American might, to be able to show the country or the world that we mean business. Yes, we speak softly and carry a big stick. That's what it comes down to.
I've honestly, when it comes to what the left says, I dialed them out. I've muted all you hear is walking stuff because they're like,
but it's so funny, Brian.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I dialed them out as far as like hearing anything they say, as far as like, oh, he spent $2 million, $2.9 million on military mills, dude. Are you insane? Like,
shut up.
Do you want our guys to have some kind of camaraderie, to have those feasts and stuff? Do you not think they deserve that? I mean,
morale is a thing.
Immigrants are really important to you, and you think that they should get all the benefits and stuff, but because we treat our veterans so poorly in this country, I don't think a lobster and steak dinner is really going to hurt anything.
No,
especially. And so it brings me to this, Kyle. How's the gas prices out in California?
Well, I posted a couple of days ago that it took me $130 to fill my tank. $130.
And she drives a Prius, folks. She drives a Prius.
Any parent listening out there is going to understand how much you drive kids around. I mean, you guys are parents. You understand this.
Sure.
There is so much going on in California right now that is being, of course, easily blamed on Trump. But I'm glad that we're pivoting to this, because I did want to make a point about all of the fraud that's being uncovered out here. And like every day you're hearing more and more. And I don't want people to get overwhelmed by it to the point where they're desensitized and like, California is just toast. It's just trash, garbage. Everything's on fire. Let's break it off into the ocean and let it become its own drama. Look, we feed the nation. It's the tech hub of the country. It's the entertainment hub of the country. Like, we are so critical to the rest of the United States. And also 40 million people live here. Please don't just write us off yet. But what's happening? What's that?
The ones that have been counted, at least.
Yeah, right.
I would say there's about 100 million.
Who knows?
There,
but
we're working on it.
Who knows what's going on? I mean, I'm sure the census is screwed up.
Okay, so let's I'm going to dial you back real quick, because I do want to jump into fraud, but I want to talk about the gas prices.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your okay, gas prices have gone up. Trump says that they're temporary pain for long-term gain. Yeah, I can see the gain. Get rid of the regime. Let's get something a little bit more
not terrorist.
Compatible for the Middle East. So I get that. But how do you rationalize to the people out there, or justify or whatever to the people out there that are like, man, I can't fill my tank up now, and it's costing me an arm and a leg. I mean, what do you
you got to look at it two different ways, right? You have to look at what's going on in the Middle East and what's going on with the petrodollar and the flow of oil. That's getting sorted out right now, and that absolutely has to happen. It's going to be temporary pain for long-term gain. People just have to be patient and know there is a plan that's going to result in a lower per barrel cost. It's going to happen. I'm so confident in that. Everyone is.
It's still cheaper than it was when Biden was in. So for me, at least, I don't
Yeah,
know
I
about-
remember. I do remember $7 gas when Biden was in, and then we tapped the reserves, which we never want to do. We never want to do that. What specific? So nationwide, hang on, it's going down. Just give it a minute,
Mhm.
and then that will last us, right? We can't just keep slapping the Band-Aid on and tapping into our reserves. That won't serve us well. What's going on in California particularly is that it's a temporary tick up in the gas pricing, but it's the gas tax. We have the highest gas taxes in the nation. It is outrageous.
And
If
you've
you
got
look
the
at
14th largest economy in the world, or something to that
fourth
effect.
largest economy in the world.
Is it fourth?
Alleged-
I thought it was
fourth.
14th.
Fourth.
Four.
California is like its own country.
So
The
I don't even
problem-
understand how you can have the 4th largest economy in the world and have absorbent.
I'm going to explain it to you.
Fraud.
I'm going to explain it to you. Yes.
It has to be, bro.
This is
Go
so
ahead.
simple. This is the most basic thing that politically basic can share with you right now. The amount of corruption and fraud that is happening is in the billions. And even 40 million people paying taxes, and the taxes are so bad. We're doing them right now. They're so awful. And we're being good citizens and we're paying them. The fraud and the support of people who are not citizens and not paying taxes is so overwhelming right now that the state keeps finding creative ways to tax us. You name it, it's taxed. We breathe, we blink, we walk, we drive, we open a business, we work, we own a property, we rent. We want to change any of those things. We're taxed. The gas taxes are just one of 1,000 things that we get taxed. So on the ballot for November, thank God, is voter ID, and it's also a Prop 13 related ballot initiative. And what Prop 13 is, guys, is something that the state has tried to come at us over and over. They've gotten so creative. You almost have to like give them a medal for the creativity, but it's property tax cap. Now we pay something like 1.3% property tax, and they want to remove the ceiling on it. So they have tried to come at repealing Prop 13, which caps it, over and over, to the point where they put forward Prop 5. Prop 5 was to lower the threshold of the vote to get rid of Prop 13, and people still rejected it. And so the reason that this is so critical is, like, obviously our property valuation. We have a lot of people from out of state and out of country coming in and buying our beautiful estates and properties here. It's gorgeous, right? We have people from all over who have significant wealth coming up and snatching these properties. They're paying tens and tens of millions. I just looked at a house down the street. It was stunning. They want $12 million for this house. It's like a regular, like a 4-bedroom. Okay.
Wow.
So please understand what's happening here. And now the state just wants to grab. And we have all this outside money coming in, and it affects all of us. They want to tax you when you leave the state, when you run away, when you try to restructure, when you die. It is becoming so burdensome. And now we have new leadership, the potential for new leadership. But here's where it's getting crazy. And Brian, I'm going to come back to it because I know you want to talk about gas, but that's the
No, I mean,
drama.
I just wanted to know what your perspective was on gas, and then also get to Brett and see how things are going down in there.
No, I
in
want to
Texas.
hear from Brett too, but
But-
as we come up against this, I'll say one more thing, and then Brett, I'm gonna let you talk. I promise. You're so sweet to let Mama talk on and on.
Well,
Go ahead, Mama.
Okay, thanks. As we come up against November, really June, the June primary for this gubernatorial, which is just, oh man, it's a circus. And some of these monkeys are not ours, and some are our monkeys, and we just love some of them. But the Democrats in California are not going to let 2 Republicans cross the primary finish line here, because all this fraud being exposed, they have to keep it contained, and they're not going to let it happen. So there's a lot of talk about, like, oh, look, you have 2 Republican candidates polling the highest, and we have the jungle primary. We're going to have 2 Republicans, and it's never going to happen.
Right,
It's never going to happen. We
right.
have to focus and consolidate behind one. I love Steve Hilton. The more I know this man and the more I hear him speak, he's just brilliant. He loves the state. He hates what's going on, and we have to support him. So please, please, please understand that we've got to just galvanize and get behind one
So-
candidate here.
And then you're speaking of fraud. You're talking about and this is out to both of y'all. You've got a governor, Gavin Newsom, who was my governor for a year or so, and And it's just been bad news from this guy since the beginning. And then you have Nick Shirley, who goes out there. Everybody knows he's coming. Everybody sees this is getting ready to happen. Starts exposing fraud, as usual. And I'd say about 80%, maybe more, 90% of that is actual fraud. And then what does Newsom do? He calls him a pedophile because it was kind of clever in the sense that it was like, why does he want to come to daycares? He put a meme out basically calling Nick Shirley a pedophile, which is ridiculous. And so Newsom's trying to be cool. He's like that guy that wants to be like he's just non-authentic all the way across the board, and it reeks, and it's
lies.
And so how can you, you've got all of this, dude, Gavin Newsom would make a major come up if you said, you know what, Nick, I'm so glad you're doing this. Let's get out there. Let's kick some ass. Let's clean this out. We can lower taxes for the California because of all the frauds.
But it's actually worse than that, Brian. He's not just saying Nick Shirley's a pedo, which is insane and stupid, and everyone's hates him even more for it. But he's saying, oh, California's been on it for years. We are leading the nation in attacking and finding fraud and waste. What?
Yeah, when? When? And it was funny to me that, what was it, CNBC started pushing out a story about the fraud as soon as Nick Shirley started uncovering it. They just, on his coattails, just were like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, there's so much fraud here. We've known about this forever. Like, come on, guys. Get out of here. Nobody believes that.
California News Broadcasting Company?
Dude, might as well have been, yeah. No, it's just ridiculous. And I think everybody sees through the Newsom BS, and I think he's a sinking ship. He knows it.
Dude, how uncomfortable it is to watch him just flounder.
Well, and to try to worm out of it.
This is the thing. It's like, okay, so let's look at Minnesota, right? Tim Walz wouldn't resign. These guys, this is a new day in politics. It's no longer the Watergate scandals that'll get you a resignation. They won't resign for anything on the left. Tim Walz, it got so bad, he finally gave the mea culpa and said, like, okay, fine, I won't run again. And that satisfied everybody. I mean, he would have been he would have been removed. He would have been impeached. Now look at Gavin Newsom. He's not only not copping to it, he's saying, like, we've been on it. We've been on it, and this pedo's coming in and trying to, like, peek inside windows of daycares, right? Yeah. They won't own anything. They'll do the 180 and they'll lie. And this is my concern right now. I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, but I'm highly concerned that he's going to ride this narcissistic, sociopathic wave to the White House in 2028 and just saying, like, not me, I'm not doing it.
Well,
that was somebody else.
In his advantage, he has the people that are like anybody but, vote blue no matter who. That's who who's behind him. No matter who. And they don't care that he's a snake and that he's they don't care. They're like, this is my team, this is my party. I don't care if he's a fraud. He's my guy. And they'll back him no matter what. Yeah, he's my fraud, not yours.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big thing that is becoming very apparent nowadays, is that people on the right are more willing to say, all right, that guy's a fraud. Yeah. I'm not standing behind him anymore, while people on the left are just ride or die. I said this, I will never apologize for it. This is my guy till the end. I mean, he could be caught with a murder weapon in his hand and the dead body behind him, and they're like, no, that's my guy. Yeah. Sorry.
Mary Berry. Mary.
Just like, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many Republicans that I've been like, all right, that's no longer, I don't support him anymore. Dan Crenshaw being one of them. I'm just
wait. So on the right, though, we're maybe too quick to be like, are you a traitor?
But I mean, I think you have to be, though.
Through it, it's like
you have to be.
It's a new day, right? It's a new day in politics, and we are slow to catch up to this. Everyone on the left is like, sure, we're with you. Whatever you want to do, that here we go. I'm like, I want cheeks on the chairs on the train. Yeah, but like fraud. Conservatives were a little slow to catch up with this game, right? Is that these candidates, they're no longer people who are like, I just want to serve my country and my community, and here I am, and this is my resume, and vote for me because whatever. No. These are installations. They are being funded by groups, by Soros, by whatever, by unions. Oh my God, the union money. we're a little slow to reframe the mindset here, and I think that we would do well to catch up pretty quickly about how the game is being played and be able to counter it. I'm not saying we play it the same way. I just think that we're a little slow on the take here. And it's going to not serve us well this fall.
Well, and then we try to be nice about it. And I think that's another one of our biggest pitfalls is we on the right try to be a little bit more nice and sympathetic. Not the suicidal empathy that you see on the left, but a little bit more understanding, and that seems to be a downfall 99% of the time.
Well, then in Texas, you're gonna have Islam just come in and take over. I mean, and we should talk about this because when we, as a Christian nation, as this nation of compassionate people who believe in freedom and believe in personal rights, and let's bring in the 2A a little bit more here, right? Yeah. We love diversity. We love the melting pot, and like everyone's an immigrant, right? This is going to get stretched so far that we're seeing this happen in Texas, is that like we have this this growing population that is anti-American, all those things that we believe in. And they're breeding, they're growing, right? Yeah. And to Texas's credit, and thanks to you and some other friends with big platforms and wide reach, you guys really spoke out about this proposition that was on your ballot. And now it seemed pretty resounding that people are rejecting this, this new breeding of this sort of so different and so destructive and oppressive ideology that's coming in. But that's scary.
Yeah. Well, and especially in a place like Texas, because I think we got a little bit too complacent and just said, hey, this is deep red, we're never going to get infiltrated. And of course the enemy is going to prey on that. But I think the biggest thing for us is we just didn't know it was happening. We didn't realize how bad it was. We didn't realize that, like, hey, there's whole sides of town that we can't even go to in Texas, in Dallas, and Frisco, and all these places. And us as Christians, I think is the biggest thing that we're having to wrestle with is, yes, we want to be compassionate, we want to be welcoming and that kind of thing, but we also have to understand that there are ideologies and religions that are antithetical to everything we believe in, and they want nothing but our destruction. So at some point we have to draw a line in the sand and say, listen, you do your own thing, don't bother me, that's fine, but do not change my way of life or this country, this nation that it was founded on our ideals and our morals, and you're not compatible with it. I'm sorry. I still love you, but you can't be here. We have to draw that line in the sand. I don't either. But, if you want to play the compassionate card, we can be like, I can love you over there.
Stone women and light them on fire. And,
you've got,
like, I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. It's infuriating.
I'm not sorry, actually.
It always messed with me when I would read the part in the Quran where it said, I can beat my wife with a stick about yay long, as long as I didn't, break a bone and stuff. And I'm paraphrasing, but that literally is in there. I've read it with my own eyes. I was a part of that faith for a long time. And so, here's the thing. We are a constitutional republic. You can call it democracy, whatever you want. I don't care. Use whatever the word of the day, whatever. So, okay. Constitutional republic. Separation of church and state. They put that out there for a reason. Even Islam should be subject to those rules and regulations. Yes. Sharia law is a religious tenet that's trying to hijack the constitutional system. And if these philosophies and these ideologies do not line up with the Constitution, what's so hard about saying, no, that doesn't belong here? And it doesn't mean that you can't practice that in your household, but you'll be subject to the American governing law. So if you beat your wife, you're still going to jail. No religious stuff to it, because we have our laws, you have your laws. Respect your family, treat them well. And most Muslims do at large, but you have people who see a problem, and bless their hearts for whatever reason. There is a lot of filth and slime and corruption and garbage in this country, in the governmental system, as well as in our entertainment industry. But at the same time, what has your style, your remedy done for your countries over in the Middle East?
Okay, I got a lot to say about that, Brian. I got a lot to say about separation of church and state and Islam. The infiltration here in the United States is not establishing a religion. It is an ideology. They're trying to get
There
into
you
the
go.
schools. They're trying to come
But
in and accept the rights that our republic and look, we practice some forms of democracy, but we have to hold tight to the fact that we are a republic. And that is so important. And the reason is because that means that majority does not just rule.
right.
Think about the idiots that
And it
would
can
form
also
the
play to their
majority that would
advantage, too.
change the rule of the land here. And
That
so
can
when
also
we
play
have
to their advantage.
Exactly.
sure, I get that, but we have to look at this as like, okay, well, you want to be respected under First Amendment rights as a religion. No, you're not. That we don't recognize radical Islam as a religion in this country. No, you cannot come in and establish your law in schools and have accommodations made for you within the law of the United States. Like we are going to resoundingly reject that. And there are a lot of lawsuits going on right now through our judicial system that have to do with exactly that, accommodations that Islam wants in this country as a recognized religion, and we're not going to do it.
Good.
And I'll talk all day long about separation of church and state, but I'll just remind everyone listening who's still sticking with me on this point that that didn't have to do with government separating themselves from religion. It had to do with the Christian religion saying, government, state, you cannot come into our faith as a
Right.
Christian
hear you.
nation and dictate how we run this country.
Right. And it's a simple test in my mind. Take what they're doing and trying to come here and change our laws and change our culture. Do that in any other country in the world, and you will be shut
Yeah.
down
Besides
immediately.
the UK. Besides the UK.
Well, besides the UK, but I mean, they are a
Well, they're
symptom of
coming around
exactly
to that. They're coming
exactly
around
what's
to that,
what's
yeah.
going on with us. You know, we were too sympathetic and we were too nice, and we were just like, okay, well, all right, well, we'll allow that. We'll allow that. That's what they're betting on. They're incrementally encroaching on us inch by inch because we're just not going to cry foul. And
You're gonna
like I
end up-
said, at some point we have to draw a line in the sand and say this is a Christian nation. Call it what you want, but our morals and values that formed this nation are not compatible with yours. Period. End of story. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, or they're going to have to learn about the Barbary Wars.
Just a deep dive on that. That's bananas.
Yeah. So like it's crazy. I don't understand it, dude. I was Muslim in this country for all my life, or my younger life, and so I never felt like changing the laws of the land. And I never felt like, oh, I don't love America. I just
Sure.
went to Jummah prayer on Fridays. I did my salat sometimes when I was actually trying to be a good Christian or Muslim in their version. And so, and really that's the majority of people, but because it's become such a social media topic, it's really starting to bring out the radical in people.
Sure.
Where they're like, you know what, you don't like me, guess what, I'm not going anywhere. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, I'm going to
They're
make
digging
you
their heels in.
fit
Right.
to what I'm doing. Dude, listen, that's going to get you 10 slices of messed up in the public arena, like at the end, because it's just not going to happen.
I want to
It's
see that. I want to see 10 slices of it.
not going to happen. You
Also,
can-
when you come for the dogs, I'm sorry, but Americans do not tolerate that. You come for our fur babies,
Absolutely
done.
not.
Like
Bro,
kids are one
dude.
thing, fur babies.
yeah,
It's
Whole
like
other level.
kids and fur babies. Like,
I had a dog as a
Whole other
Muslim.
level.
I didn't ever follow
know.
that stuff, man. I had a dog as a
That's-
Muslim. I don't.
yeah. And to be clear, not all Muslims are bad. I think that everybody
No,
tries
we're
to
not
conflate
saying
the
that.
whole
We're not
thing. And it's like, no, there are practicing Muslims that are great people,
I was
members
one.
of the community, contributors to the community,
That's
and
true
advanced.
for every group,
Exactly.
every community, every sect of anything. Is
Absolutely.
That you're gonna have your radicals and your crazies.
But
and
one
the-
group
you
of
know.
radicals tends to be a lot more violent and
But it's
anti-American
death by,
than the
yeah,
other.
that's it.
Take
It's
over
death by a
neighborhoods.
thousand cuts, right?
Like,
So they
why
start
are you
inching
trying
their
to
way
take
in.
over entire cities? Like,
Yeah.
why so many damn mosques in one city?
Well, and then in their doctrine is to take over. That is
Yeah.
part of their ideology is to take over wherever they're at. I mean, it's just it's bananas.
They have a lot of
Yeah.
kids, right? They
Yep.
have a lot of children and overtake. I
That's just the
know.
way it is, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
But that's not really all that women are good for, is just breeding.
I forgot.
If we really want to
Yes.
think about
Get back in the
it, like-
kitchen. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I guess
Speaking
some
of
cooking.
which,
I guess some cooking too. And if the food's not
Kyle.
good, just beat them. Just go
Kyle,
ahead and
But there has to be a stick this big. Though.
Kyle.
don't break any bones.
Yes.
Yes, Brian.
Where's our sandwiches you were supposed to make?
And we're going to commercial break.
It's going to be a certain kind of sandwich.
We interrupt this
It
program.
starts with shh and ends with, you're not going to like it. You're not going to love it.
Dude, forgive me. You know I'm kidding, right?
It's like, hey, Brian,
Do with that
you.
stick.
yeah. That's the old
You're
Muslim
gonna hate
rising
that
up in me. I'm
sandwich.
kidding. No. Dude, look, we got the Westboro Baptist people. Obviously, they're not
Perfect example. Perfect
You know,
example.
like we got crazy.
Dude, can I just say something? As long as we're gonna start talking about the religious sects, like what's going on with the Duggars again. We got another Duggar. So listen, I want to say something though about the Duggar situation. I met a Duggar. So I met Josh years ago, right before the whole scandal broke. I got such a high quantity of ick. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. And when that all
Like
came
an
out, I was
evil.
like, I got it. Oh yeah, just whole other sixth sense level of like, you are assessing me in a
Mhm.
way I never want to be assessed. So that was the Josh Duggar experience.
Wow.
Recently, a couple months ago, I met one of the younger ones, one of the younger boys.
Mm.
Lovely, deep Christian, just struggling through what the family is going through, trying to make his own way, difficult to have the association of family. And now this other brother, I don't even know the name. I don't remember. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Has come out, and he and his wife now, and all these abuse allegations, and like, good God, right? And we were talking about this earlier. I was talking with a group of people. It's like they just give the faith such a bad name, and like Christianity is so broad, right? You have all these denominations under Christianity, but good God, like they screwed those kids up right
Bad.
solid.
Bad.
Right solid with I think their sticks were longer than what the Quran says that you should have. But I just this hurts me then so many. This hurts my heart. Like as a Christian woman, this just like this kills me, right? Like you're messed up. You messed your kids up. So you went too far. You went too far. And
Yeah.
my heart hurts also for the kids who aren't screwed up, who made it out and
Yeah.
who are trying to make a life for themselves. But like that's not the Christian faith. That's not what
No.
we're about.
Yeah.
Well,
And dang.
you just see like, and we could talk about these all day. When they were trying to get rid of the Islamic demons in me and stuff, they sent me to Christian group homes and things like that. And so I had the
Well,
alt Christian experience.
Not
and,
great.
so-
Not
Exorcistic.
great.
Yeah.
I'm
and
sorry.
it's so funny because I was telling you on a thread one day, I was like this, they sent me to this underground group home in South
Mm.
Carolina where, it was, you were locked in it was this one long building and they named, even the lunch hall was called the Manna. And, there was they lived in one section, then you were in the dorm locked in during the day and they pumped Christian music into it. Then you had the school next to it. Then you had the church. And so you stayed on this
Mhm.
compound. And so there was a lot of abuse that went down in there. And they always thought that they were fighting the demons when they grab you by the throat, jack you up on the wall.
Oh my God,
do all those
Brian,
things.
I will fight people who hurt you. That
So,
just,
so this is,
I'm
listen,
scrappy. That is
right.
That's
So,
so
but here's the
awful.
crazy thing. When I've noticed people who are just like thoroughly nuts about religion,
yeah.
and like just alt versions of what this should be, Westboro Baptist style. And look, people are like, I'm not Westboro Baptist, but there's a lot of people who don't even realize they are in that style. They're the ones that go, well, that tornado hit down the street because them homosexuals.
Yeah,
live here."
yeah.
Exactly right.
So like it's one of those things. So years later, 2017, I've moved on with my life, a couple of drug
Mhm.
addictions and prison sentences later, just carrying on. And so I get a call from this guy who used to kick my ass in this group home. I mean, he would, they were trying to expel the demons. And so, but he was apologizing and repenting or asking for forgiveness for it. But he was no longer Peter, he was Patricia.
Oh,
So that's the thing. No longer Peter, but Patricia. So this dude in his repression or in this insanity, it just, I don't know how he ended up from Peter to Patricia, but it's quite the journey,
that's,
over a
I mean,
30-year
it's tied to
period.
abuse. It's got to be.
But you can understand that a person who would do that
Yeah.
to children in a group home, not the most emotionally stable.
Right.
Yeah, and so I
it
wonder,
makes sense. I can connect those
is this a
dots. But
pattern
I'm
across?
also going to fight Patricia. I would,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
we're done with
Patricia
the show, I
will
would like Patricia's contact
put some
information so I
back.
can
Nice.
track
Well,
him or
no,
down and beat the crap out of
right, and so
her.
you know, and the whole thing is just like across this unstable, and this is my personal opinion, evangelical,
Yeah.
spirit-filled, whatever the heck it is. There's good ones. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's good ones. Let me
A
clarify
lot.
before what I'm about to say. But there's a whole lot of whatever going on in these churches because it's every single day that there's some pastor resigning for touching kids or touching
I
a
know.
girl or doing something. And
I
it's like these were
know.
notable
I know.
preachers. And it's like, you know, that's why I started going to mass. I started going to mass because even though they've got their own problems in the Catholic Church and stuff like that, you know what? I don't got to go for personality. It's stable, and the structure of the church has.
Wait,
kept
the
that-
Catholics have had some problems with touching the kids? What?
Yeah,
What?
you know, of course they blame it on the Freemasons and all of that stuff.
Listen.
But the
The
point
enemy goes straight for the people who are preaching the word.
Yep.
And I think that
No,
is
we're
like
not the
ground
principles.
zero for enemy attack. And yeah, it's just awful when you see it. It's sad when you have to go into a church and question the pastor, question the preacher, be like, what's in your life? And I think we got a lot of that right now. We got a lot of people being taken down by sin and just awful, bad, sinful behavior because they're in that world. And that's just, it's horrible because, you know, we need faith. We need Jesus more than ever right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you know, go ahead, Brett.
I was going to say, and to tie into our religious conversation, I feel like you have those fringe ideologies in every religion, but a perfect example of how it manifests itself is the modern left right now, because that is their religion, period. And that they are the fringe of that religion. They I mean, they treat it like a religion. You can't question it. You can't talk about it. You can't, the leaders, don't even talk bad about them. You know, it's like, that is their religion. So you almost have to treat it that way.
Yeah. Well, not only that, man, they say that this big socialist Marxist movement is coming from the Christian movement in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s, because it was all about love and all of this. And so people, it perfectly aligns with socialism.
Yeah.
And so you've got all these Marxist kids coming out. Oh, be like Jesus. Be like Jesus. And they've got this skewed sense of who Christ was. So I don't know enough to know. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm on some kind of soapbox of morality superiority. But at the same time, man, we got a lot going on in this country.
Well, we got a lot of people trying to rewrite history in a lot of different ways. Tell you that every world war was different than it was. Tell you the Holocaust didn't happen. Tell you that socialism's okay. I mean, we don't have Dad here. We don't have Dad here. Monitoring if we're getting kicked off TikTok or not. I'm sure we would have been kicked off several times.
We've been way off.
Israel,
one of my topics was Israel. So like I was like, if we get to this, I don't know if I should bring it up because
bring it up.
You know, I guess for the last subject of the podcast, we can talk about whether you think it's the rise of anti-Semitism or whether you think it's exposure. You know, so like,
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think us as Americans realized how entrenched Israel was in our day-to-day in policy making and stuff like that. What I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying whether the amount of stuff that's happening behind the scenes that involves Israel. Like, you know, we always talk about their trading intelligence back and forth. That's why we're giving them money, that kind of thing. But I just don't think most Americans realized how much was going on behind the scenes. And then people are going to take that information and run with it. You're going to have the anti-Semites run with that and be able to co-opt that and be able to make it, you know, to push their narrative. And then you're going to have the other people, the chosen people, be able to run with it on the same token. So I think it's a little bit of both. Of course, everything's going to be skewed and, you know, hyperbolized, however to fit your narrative. But I
everybody gets nervous when they talk about this.
Are we going to get kicked off?
I don't know what to do.
But I will say my general opinion is in the whole scenario is I think that we give them too much money and too much credit and too much leverage in our politics. That has nothing to do with them as a people. You know, I think as a government, they have too much influence of us as Americans. Now, again, I don't know all the information behind the scenes. Yeah, I don't know all the information we're getting from them and what kind of deals we have behind closed doors. But like I said, I think us as Americans didn't realize how involved and entrenched they were into our political system. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think that you're bringing up some good points, and you're really tapping into how a lot of Americans are feeling and what the questions that are arising right now as we're talking about it more. You know, biblically, obviously, Israel and the Jewish people are going to be the scapegoat, and we're seeing that being verbalized way more now than we ever have. Right? It's like so hot right now to blame everything on Israel. But let's look at the geopolitics of this and globally, what other nations on planet Earth are strong enough, have enough resources, rare earth, oil, energy, military, technology, and who are our allies? When you start narrowing that down, how many countries are left? Right? Not very many. Not very many. And so I think this is sort of an alliance de facto situation here. And you know, we're also looking at these countries shift and like look at what India is doing and trying to kind of shift their alliance a little bit, and Japan coming and maybe being like, don't worry, we're with you guys. And Europe hasn't figured it out, right? Like they have not, they're still kind of confused a little bit here. But I think too that people don't realize is like, yes, Israel has been our ally and they give us intelligence. But what's going on in the Middle East right now is shifting so much that our reliance on Israel is going to change based on how the relationships that were dependent on things going on in the Middle East are going to change.
Sure.
So I don't know if any of that matters at the end of the day, and people just want to blame everything on Israel. But
I mean,
again, I've said this. Well, I've said this before on this show, and I think that we can never look at any leader or any country as either all good or all bad. We should never do that. And so and Israel has proved themselves over and over and over again. They're doing it again right now in this conflict in Iran. But I think that we have to step back and look at this as like, okay, well, if not them, then who, right? Who has stepped up and been by our side? And like, of course, we're going to be allied with them. They're not running our country. They're not telling us what to do. Maybe under some other president, perhaps, not Donald Trump. But of course, he's going to be like, hey, guess what? So. Like, well, yes. Well, Biden just, he laid down and took a 4-year-long nap. But I don't know. We got to look at what's at play across the entire globe when we're talking about this conversation and why we're so allied with them.
Yeah. And the geopolitical implications, like you touched on. I mean, of course, Middle East is a hotbed for everything happening in the world right now. So of course, yes, like you said, we're going to be aligned with them. Yeah. Now, is that government going to take advantage of that situation? I think most governments would. I mean, let's be honest.
I think.
Is it nefarious? I don't think so. Like I said, the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't think they're, the evil serpents and the Satanists, whatever you hear these fringe people calling them. And then I also don't think that they're the shining beacon of light that they say they are. So it's somewhere in the middle.
I think it's perfectly a convenient thing, to deflect from the pedophile cabal that's running our country, right?
Now that.
All right. Or running our entertainment industry. The Trump administration excluded. I don't know. But anyways, I just thought that would be a funny for a second. But,
well, I mean, okay.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
There's a couple of things. Number one, it's not right to call somebody an anti-Semite just because they ask questions.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
What's happening that's what's happening. And I think that's wrong from the right. I think
and that's when red flags get raised. Is like if you're shutting down the conversation before the conversation even happens, that's a problem.
How do I even get educated? School me and show me where I'm wrong so I can be better for it. And then you have the fact that Israel, which wasn't even a state since before 1947, however it came to be through the Rockefeller, whatever conspiracy you want to throw at me, whether it's true or not, the Jews have their own state. They got it back after being on hiatus for a long time. They have their own country now. And you're surrounded by countries with a religion that wants to wipe you off the face of the earth. Not kumbaya Muslims in most countries just want to get along or go along to get along. But honestly, their religion says, wipe them off the face of the earth.
Right.
Take them out.
And so, like, you have a tiny little Rhode Island, New Jersey, whatever it is out there in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by people who want to take them out. And so at the end of the day, I would be doing everything in my power for survival, because for a long time I was excommunicated from my land, and then I had to go take it back and then be told that it was never mine in the first place. And then I'm gonna, I'm picking the biggest bully on the yard, and I'm gonna go up there and be his friend. Please protect me. I'm a pipsqueak. I don't have anybody. Everybody wants to kick my ass.
Have you done that before, Brian?
So, like, if you honestly think about it for a second, from a logistical standpoint.
Well, just as a self-preservation standpoint. Sure.
You've got to get in there.
They're all doing.
We've got lobbyists from the oil company. We've got lobbyists from the pharma company. We got agri lobbyists. We got all of these lobbyists, and yet we want to mess with AIPAC. Oh, they should register. So what? Let them register as a foreign agent, but they're lobbying for their very survival. And yeah, they're probably greedy. I mean, people have been picking on the Jews since when I grew up. I mean, every movie had some kind of Jewish pun. Don't be a Jew. Don't do this. Don't say that. And so we grew up with that. So there's a lot at stake here. The survival of Israel, just on a secular level itself, without any religion involved, is the tantamount to them. So they're going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to go get with the strong man, the empire, because the second China becomes the empire, I guarantee you Israel's going to be like, hey, by the way,
look at all this intelligence I have. Yeah.
Don't kill us, please. And don't let them kill us either. We'll help you out.
Right.
Like, so that's my point. At the end of the day, quit calling people anti-Semites just because they have a question. I want to be educated.
Yeah.
Lift me up. Don't push me down. Don't call me an anti-Semite.
And if it's and if your plight is just, then you should be able to answer questions and educate people without labeling people. It shouldn't be hard.
Well, that's what we've lost. And people don't want to even do that much work, right? They don't want to defend a position. They don't want to accept new information. They don't want to think critically about anything. They want to do what's going to serve their emotional roiling the best.
Yeah. And nobody
We want comfort.
Nobody at the lowest friction possible.
We don't have Dad here to talk about the low.
Where's that low information voter?
It's all about survival. That's the same thing with this trans movement. It's apples and oranges here, but you've got this little small percentage of the population who have been scared into their, to thinking that everybody's trying to kill them. They've been pumped full of chemicals. And so they're doing whatever it takes to hang on to the shred of voice that the left has given them. So they'll be the loudest and they'll champion. Anybody who's the small man wants the big man to protect them.
Well, it's relevance, right? It's survival, but it's relevance.
Yeah.
And meaning and, trying to find your place in the world. Yeah. All of
so I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just making a point. Anybody who's, even if
it's human nature.
Like, I'm a furry at school, right? So I need a bunch of furries to affirm my insanity.
Lord.
So my point is but Israel's on a whole nother level. I'm pro-Israel for its existence. I want to understand. Tell me why I'm wrong. Okay, did they go in there and wipe them all out? Well, the Bible does tell me that they went in and committed some treason, or not treasonous, but some genocide back in the Bible days.
Sure.
But, they got a good excuse for that. So
it's like I want their survival, but not at the expense of me and my in our country.
Right.
That's not crazy.
But at the end of the day, that's the America First model, and people don't realize that what's going on in the Middle East contributes to being America First. And I think there's a
100%.
huge disconnect there. Is like we cannot be isolationist in this. Our lives will just get continually worse. And Brian, be a furry in your own time.
Yeah,
not in public.
The Iranian regime is America First.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't care what
100%.
you say.
Best thing you've ever said.
So stinking selfish that you can't see the forest for the trees. And the same thing with Israel. Man, you made me forget what I was going to say about Israel, but it was really, really good.
Well, but the pushback, I feel like people that are going, America needs to be isolationist, because I was there. I understood where they were coming from, because it was so frustrating that it was like, we realized the magnitude of the amount of dollars that was going out of our country and helping other people before our veterans who are sleeping on
Those
the
are two
street.
different things, though,
That
right,
makes
Brent?
sense.
Those are two
Right,
different
right,
things. Like,
right.
like being
But that was the
America
frustration.
first and
Yeah.
being the world's policeman and the world's piggy bank. Like, those are two different things, and people
Right.
cannot mesh them together and be like, we shouldn't
If
help
you-
anyone else, or we shouldn't have any allies. No, we are correcting all of this mismanagement and abuse across the world, and that benefits us, and it has to be done, and it sucks because it causes us some short-term pain here
Right.
at home, right? But it's got to be done, and it's going to get done now because Donald Trump doesn't give a rip what anybody thinks. He knows that he is beloved with his base. He will be remembered for all time as the GOAT, and he's going to go get everything done while he has a chance to do it, and God bless him for feeling that way.
Yeah. So you have empire, right? We are empire. We are the empire. And, we can be like, let's just take all of our balls and go home and stay here. And then next thing you know, you have another empire on our back doorstep. So
Sure.
at some point you have to establish dominance. Hey, look, you can take over anything on that side of the hemisphere, but you ain't coming on this side of the court. And so and I would rather America be the empire than China.
Mhm. Yes.
So it's you gotta balance it when you have, listen, Israel, this is what I was going to say about them. They're giving them all this money for the military equipment. Guess where they're spending that money at? They're spending it in America.
Here.
Sure.
And so, but you're right. Just to land the plane on this, there's a lot of bass-ackward policy in this country.
Mhm.
We're not taking care of our veterans. We're not putting Americans first, and all of this all matters.
Right.
And so, but my thing is, it's like, why can't we get that? We can put up a new. Well, it's in the budget and everything is partitioned for this part of the budget. We'll take some of that damn money and put it towards mental health in this country.
Yeah.
Don't build the extra part.
No gay Iraqi Sesame Street. Bring it back.
Paintings,
Yeah,
murals,
I'm with you.
no gay crosswalks. I don't need to feel. They could still be gay and walk across the regular crosswalk. How about put some of that money into some mental health resources?
Yeah.
Recovery resources.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But just to touch back on it, my whole point was like Americans' knee-jerk reaction to this whole thing, mine included, was seeing all that. We're just like, all right, cut it all off. Cut us all off. Isolationists. We figure out what the hell's going on first. Figure out why all this money's going where. Let's figure that out first. Cut everything off, and then we can start going. Okay, it would benefit us to have an ally over here, have an ally over here. Money goes over here. Right.
See that happening.
But I think that was most Americans' reaction to it.
Right.
Because we don't understand the totality and the scale of things that are happening. But for me, I'm like, I think of it like a business. Like if I'm hemorrhaging money and I don't know where it's going, guess what? I'm locking the doors and we're not leaving until we figure this out. And that's why I feel like people were doing that.
All of it makes sense, and at the same time, none of it does.
Exactly.
So it's like,
Perfect.
what
What do we do?
I know. It doesn't make sense because we can't see the future.
Right.
So we have to have trust. We have to
Well, we
trust
don't
that
we
it's
don't
going.
understand where the tentacles go and how deep the web of lies goes, and we don't understand all of that.
Bad.
We got
But
I
it's
don't think
starting
we
to
want
unfold.
I don't think our human brains are meant to
No.
understand all that, boys.
Well, it's 250 years of developing corruption is what it is.
We have this fake ass party on the left. I don't care what you say. We got corruption on the right, so there is some stuff to be called
I
out
think
there.
it's-
And there's
I
a
think
lot of
it's a uniparty.
hypocrisy on the right and immorality on the right, and I've seen it with my own eyes. So, but my thing is like they could potentially control this country for the rest of our
I
existence.
know.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
scary.
and that's our next election cycle. That's 2028. And for everyone to understand, I love that we try to say every election cycle is the most important election of our lifetime. We're going to say it about every single election from here until
It
eternity.
is.
Because
But
it
the
is.
next time they come in, they're going to pack this court. They're going to blast the filibuster. They're going to they're going to ruin any, election system that we have in place. And it's just gone. It's gone for us. And so I think it's now or never. And with Donald Trump being elected in 2024, we got a second chance. We got a really big, just display of grace from above. It was a miracle. And if we cannot figure it out, how to not be retarded in this moment, I know I said the word, I don't like using
Clip
the
that.
word, but like, can we just not be so selfish and moronic and
Show up. That's the
and
biggest
just
thing.
figure this out, because it's going to go in a really hard bad direction.
What was the
if we don't.
what was
Really
the word
hard.
you just used? The R
No,
word?
I don't know. Also, I
Just-
have to go. I love you.
Yes,
gotta go, boys.
Kyle, I know you
want
gotta
to
go. Yep.
continue- I want you to
Uh,
continue your conversation, but on that, if Brian's gonna force me to say the word I said again, I gotta go. This is a great discussion, though. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
I
it.
thought you were going to drop
Yeah.
it, bro. It's you know.
R card is what I try to call it.
R
R
card.
card. Don't be
R
R
card.
card.
There'll be an R card. There'll be
Don't
All
be
right,
R
well,
card.
Well, Kyle, I know you got to go. This is the last thing I wanted to say. So,
Well,
like you're saying, Kyle, we have to show up for elections and stuff like that. Democrats just flipped a House seat in the Mar-a-Lago County, so
I know.
they're betting on us not showing up. So we have
Yeah.
to freaking show up and vote.
Totally.
Okay, that's all I got.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's it.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
All right, guys, appreciate you guys. Love you all.
Love you.
Follow us on all the socials. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see here. She left. Let's get rid of her. Remove. All right. So we can close this out naturally.
Yep.
And so, dude, that was a pretty good show. So
Yep.
I think that
I think you're still live on.
Yeah, we're
something.
live. well, I didn't end the live.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, I ended the Instagram.
So I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for showing up this week. And until next time, happy trails.
Happy trails. Good seeing you. Adios.
Adios.